with the understanding of what machine learning refers to, where can you use it, along with the pre-processing techniques that should be done before getting into a machine learning algorithm. Next, we are going to start with the set of available algorithms one by one. Okay. So in that series, we are going to see the first algorithm today, which is linear regression. So before getting into linear regression, let's have a small recap of what we have seen about the different kinds of algorithm. Machine learning basically supports two major categories of data sets and hence two major categories of algorithms. One, we call it a supervised, in a sense that you will have either one attribute or a set of attributes, which we call it as the input variables, and a corresponding output attribute, which we call it as an output or a response variable, right? So if you have a particular column in your data set labeled as an output, we say the algorithm refers to a supervised algorithm. Otherwise, if you have a data set wherein you are not in a position to identify a particular column to be an output variable, we say it comes under an unsupervised data set category, and hence the class of algorithm that we have to follow are unsupervised algorithms. Okay. So, with this, now coming to supervised algorithm, we have again two major categories. One is regression, another one is classification. Okay. So, otherwise we say one is prediction, other one is classification, right? How? On what basis these are being done? Okay. So now coming into output variable. Okay. So all supervised data sets will have a set of input attributes followed by one output variable. Now, what kind of data are you going to have on the output variable? Okay. So if it is going to have continuous values, okay, continuous numeric values, we say the class of algorithm that you want to follow is a prediction algorithm, which is nothing but a regression algorithm. Otherwise, if the output column, output attribute contains categories or class labels, okay, so which you can put into a finite set of items. Let's say you have yes or no as an output, okay, true or false may be an output, level A to level E, 5 levels may be an output. Anything, if all the data sets can be placed under a set of class labels, if it is like so, we say classification is the type of algorithm that we need to follow. Okay. Hope you have a better understanding, or else go back to our previous session and come be prepared with a clear understanding on what supervised and unsupervised refers to, and supervised what your prediction and classification algorithm refers to. Okay. So with that, we are going to see today about the basic regression algorithm and the most powerful still existing powerful algorithm, that is linear regression. So this is going to be our agenda for next 20 to 30 minutes. Linear will be looking at what linear and non-linearity means, what are the methods to identify whether a data set is linear. We'll look at the different type of regression algorithms available. How are we going to measure the performance of a particular algorithm? Then, having measured the performance, how to improve the performance, that is loss reduction strategies, and then we'll move on for looking at how this could be implemented using Python notebook, okay, Jupyter notebook in Python. So this is going to be our agenda, and linearity is what we have discussed earlier in detail in our previous session. Okay, so any equation of degree 1 is said to be linear. If the degree goes more than 1, we say it is a non-linear category. Okay, so in a very basic understanding, so when the difference in y divided by difference in x is a constant or near constant, that is an optimized constant, we say it comes under linearity. Or if it is not constant, it's two variable, then we say it is non-linear. Okay, so let us have a non-technical example to make it more easy to understand. Now, assume that a student who is getting confused to choose a particular college for his admission. Okay, so I'm not referring it to be any particular university. So let's say a student is waiting for or gets confused in choosing an algorithm. Okay, so how will he choose a particular college for getting his graduate? Okay, Since so on what parameters or on what basis we'll be choosing it. Okay, so I have given a few. Hope this would be the requirement for you all, but not listed to this, restricted to this. It has a lot. Okay, so the first one refers to the placement strategy. Okay, what is a placement strategy that the particular college is having? Okay, so on a year basis, for example, if the university or the college is started at 2000, so we'll look at what is the placement strategy for 2000 till now, what is the strategy, and we'll see whether there is a considerable increase or not. Okay, so and hence this is what refers to, it's the infrastructure, right? So no, it's not only the placement the students will look at, they'll be more concentrating towards what is called as the infrastructure of the college. Okay, so and this, how does it look? Yes, of course, these are the rankings that people are giving for the university, understanding the different parameters. Okay, and of course the more important thing, the skill set that the student possess. Okay, so it's not only the academic skills, all the skills, whether he is able to get accommodated in a particular college, what is the social distancing that is prevailing there, what's the social area in which the college is situated, and so on. Okay, these are the some of the parameters on which the college will be judged, and based on the results you will be able to choose. Okay, so now with the details of all these things, what do? The consultants. Okay, so you would have heard of consultants like College Dunia, Siksha, and so many. I am not some X and Y, let's say, let us not name it. So we have so many educational consultants trying to tell you, okay, or trying to suggest you that this would be the particular college on this perspective and so on. How are they doing it? Okay, let's see. If I'm going to keep compare a record of 20 years, okay, nine. So what I will do in the year 2000, okay. So let's say if I'm going to talk about a college X and I'm going to predict how good is it going to be in terms of placement, infrastructure, and all those things in 2020, I want a track record of that. Okay, so I want to know how much percentage of placement it is having. What about the infrastructure? Infrastructure can again be split into so many things, whether it is having a proper hostel, okay, canteen facility, all those stuff, right? Whether the college is providing a transport, if you are a day scholar, what about the rankings that is provided? Currently D has produced given the ranking, and what are the skills that the student possess for him that will make him to be proper to enter into this particular college. Likewise, we'll be trying to collect all the data, okay, that is going to serve as a basis for training the system in order to predict you with the data about whether that particular college is suits for you or not, right? Okay, then how should this data be? Okay, so how do we want the placement to be? If at all you say if the placements percentage in year 2000 is X, okay, well, how do you want the placements to be in 2001? Do you want it to be more improved? Yes, of course. Okay, everyone wants a considerable movement. And it's always a fact that you cannot expect a considerable. Let's say if there is an increase of 5% in placement strategy from 2000 to 2001, not every year the same 5% can be maintained. Okay, it's an acceptable fact. Sometimes it may go down, sometimes it may move up to a very considerable level, sometimes there will be a light hike, but on an average, what is expected? There should be a considerable increase. Similar to that, the infrastructure should be developed. Okay, the transport should be given. Rankings, we should move ahead. Okay, and then the skill set. Okay, it should have a lot of skill sets telling that these are the things that is required, should be possessed by a person to enter into the university or the college. Okay, so it's not only related to a positive increase. Let's say if you consider the fee structure, okay, so you may want it to be lowered so that you can accommodate all class of people towards that. Okay, so as year progresses, the number of scholarships that can be given by the university may also be increased. Anything you say, we are in need of some relationship between one variable to another variable, and we want a considerable increase or a scale up in the data. Okay, so it should start with a minimal value and it should move on to a maximum, right? So now coming to attributes, what are the attributes? Now we have listed placements, infra, transport, and all these becomes your attributes. Okay, the data looks like that. Okay, so and how the data should look like? Do you want it to be a numeric or categorical? Whatever we have seen till now is what numerical data is in need of, but sometime you may be in need of categorical data also. Let's say if there exists a girls hostel inside or not, okay, can be given by a yes or no option, which comes under categorical value. Okay, now how do we check? Okay, now that we have collected data from 2000 to 2020, I want to check, okay, whether the data is linear or not. How do we check? I want to check whether the data is linear or not. Okay, that is the relationship between the attributes is linear or not. How do we check? Just recollect the previous sessions. What are the ways to check the linearity? Yes, there are two major ways. One is by drawing a scatter plot. Okay, draw a scatter plot by having one attribute on x-axis, another attribute on the y-axis. If there is a possibility to draw a straight line connecting most of the points on the space, we say the data is linear. Okay. So another important way to understand that is to identify the correlation between attribute x and attribute y. Okay. So we say a positive correlation between 0.7 to 0.1, sorry, not 0.1, 0.7 to 1, or a negative correlation between minus 0.7 to minus 1 would be good for implementing with this linear regression algorithm. Otherwise, we say the attributes are non-linear. Okay. Then how can we do this? How to identify this linearity? What are the tools available in Python? You can use pyplots or seaborn for drawing the scatter plot, and then you can calculate correlation coefficients for all the data frames using pandas, and then finally you can draw heat maps to understand which of the attributes are better related and which is least related and which is not at all related to each other. Okay. So now coming to the types of linear regression. Okay, now we have understood the fact that whenever there exists a dependency among your attributes, and when we say there exists a linearity among your attributes, and when we say the data set, the output variable is numeric and is continuous value, linear regression could be of choice. Okay. Now what are the types of linear regression that is available? Okay. So what is this? Yeah, I understood to be a parent, right? Being a parent. Okay. Now we have given list of attributes, right? So these are the list of attributes that we say is important to check whether we can get into a college or not, to give some sort of prediction, right? Whether all these things are of interest to all. Yes, if you are a parent, okay, assume a parent. What is of interest to him? Yes, of course, only the placements, right? So, being a parent, I'm interested to know how much placements the college is going to offer. If you have a statistical data from 2000 to 2019, there should be a way to predict how much would be the placement strategy in 2020. Okay, but being a student, is placements the only concern for you? Not really, right? So we are interested in so many other parameters like the infrastructure, which is of major importance, the ranking that is provided by so many different providers, that is survey takers, and then the skills that you think you have to get into the college, and convenient of yourself with the availing the transport. Okay, whether the college is on road or is it too far from a particular bus stop, anything you can take. Okay, so many. So the perspective differs. So the output or the prediction on which a particular activity has to done, that is the attributes on which the particular output has to be given, varies depending on the situation. And accordingly, we have simple linear regression and multiple linear regression. Okay, simple linear in the sense, if you have only one input and one output. What is the input here? Year. Okay, what is the output here? Placements, right? So you will have data from 2000 to 2019, some values you'll have in 2020. Okay, so let's say in 2020, what is the probable placement percentage that you have to calculate? Okay, so that is what the use of it. Okay, and coming to multiple linear regression, so this is exactly the situation when your output depends on more than one parameter. Okay, so then we say it comes under multiple linear regression category. So having identified that and assume that you have executed implemented the linear regression or multilinear regression, how do you say the results are accurate? Yeah, there are two basic metrics. Actually, only one. But when actually it's only one metric, but for explanation you can consider it to be two. So one is the accuracy, right? Accuracy refers to how good your predicted value is when compared to your original value. Okay, so on the data which you use for training the system, we run the algorithm. Okay, so if it will give you some output, right? So the deviation, if the deviation between the calculated output and the output, real output you have is very meager, then we say the algorithm is accurate. Otherwise, that difference is what we call as the loss. And our duty is to minimize this loss. Okay, when the loss function is very minimal, you say the algorithm fits in well. Okay, so now okay, coming to the implementation. Okay, how can we choose whether linear regression best suits for your data set or not? Okay, so when there exists a linearity, what type of line you will get? Tell me guys, what type of line you will get? Yes, it's a straight line, right? So can you expect a complete straight line? No, obviously, right? Because if you look at the placements itself, you cannot always expect a straight line. Okay, in reality, that's not always possible. Okay, and hence an optimized straight line only is of interest to us. Okay, so for example, I have plotted a graph. Okay, between the year and the placement percentage, right? So the scatter chart where and all the blue dots are there are the actual placement percentages. Okay, now that what can we do? How to draw a straight line? We can draw a straight line from the first point till the last point, connecting most of the points on the space. Okay, now you can see this straight line follows the equation y is equal to mx plus c. Okay, and it's obvious that, for example, in the year 2005, this is in 2005, right? So if you look at the placement percentage, how much it is, it refers to this much value. Okay, but where the actual value lies, this is your actual value. Okay, so this is your actual value y, but this is your predicted value y cap. So the difference between these two forms the error. Similarly, we have to calculate all the errors. Okay, the errors that is there for all the points. Let's say some of the points we don't have error, right? So this is not an error. So this point doesn't have an error. Okay, the points that lie on the straight line doesn't have an error, and some it is very minimal, which is not that we are not able to calculate. See here, these are very minimal, right? So the cumulative of all these errors is what we call as the loss, total loss of the system. So what is our intention? We have to draw a straight line in order to minimize this loss. Okay, that is our ultimate intention. Now, when you come to the straight line equation, what is m and what is c? Okay, we know in mathematical or statistical terms, m is nothing but the slope. What is that slope? How much is the degree of change in y when there is an unit change in x? Okay, when you are changing from 2005 to 2006, this is what we call as dx, unit change in x direction. Okay, how much is the change in y direction? That will be given by m, which is nothing but the slope. Okay, c means what? From your origin. Okay, how much distance is your first point on the same line? Okay, for a better understanding, this is what we call as your c, which is called as the intercept. Intercept is nothing but the common deviation that you find on your data set. Okay, so this is what is this, and this is what m and c refers to. Okay, So there are formulas or there are ways to compute MNC. So we'll shortly look at the calculation of error. From the error calculation, our interest is to reduce the error and to make it to 0. From there, how the values of MNC are being calculated will be discussed shortly in the next video. Thank you.